tell y'all was I date back before Wipeout Whip. Talking about the very first ever youth championship. I was 16 years old. I nearly missed the deadline. Matter of fact, when the rules came out, the way I read them, I was ineligible, and I talked to Mr. Jarvis at PKC, and Mr. Jarvis said I was eligible because I think I turned 18 on, or I think it was 18 the deadline, and I turned 18. I got qualified before I turned 18, and I turned 18 and I won the youth fund. I think that's the way it was, but that's been several years ago. Thank you. I want to thank everybody for being here. Thank you, PKC. Chris, thank you for inviting me. It's an honor to be with you. I'm very excited to be. Thank you to the City of Salem. I understand how difficult it is to put on any event, and an event to do it right. In my line of work now, we battle town politics and everything else to make an event like this go over and make it go over well. So I want to thank you for that. I haven't seen Steve yet. Steve in the house? Okay. Steve, I wanted to apologize to him. He invited me to the Youth Nationals to speak, and I had a conflict, and I could not be there, so I wanted to apologize to him in public tonight. And didn't know that Chris didn't have no secret on him or anything. Just, it was all about timing. Also, Miss Amanda, she's my I don't know what to call it. When you get our age, is it girlfriend, boyfriend anymore? We don't know. But Amanda's a very special. It happens. I want to thank her kids, Caroline and John Austin. They cut fall break for me. Kind of changed their plans so I could be here. I don't plan to speak very long tonight or today, but it's kind of like those last turnouts. Sometimes it don't go as you plan. You're out a little bit longer, but I'll promise you we'll be out of here before your deadline tonight. So just bear with me. And hopefully, over the next few minutes, I'm getting started. And perhaps, I can leave something with you for a lifetime. As I look over the crowd, I see the many faces. I want to tell you just a little bit about myself. Coon hunting has always been something I do. And, I get to thinking about when did I start? I can't remember. I started so young. I can remember one scene in my mind where my dad had put me on his back, and my dad's only 5'5", so he was very small. But he led me across the creek on his back. So that was my sport. I played baseball, basketball, but coon hunting was always a part of my life. And it's made a huge impact later on, in my life. As a hobby, took it serious a lot of times. I told somebody I used to hunt 8 nights a week. That wasn't, that's kind of a misinformative, but I would hunt hard, and a lot of times I'd go in and put my dog up and wake up at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, hunt 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning, because the big checks, as Ronnie Bone always said, big checks come at daybreak. So he, that's what we did. We took it serious. It's been a part of the family's life for a long time, my grandfather and all. So I just want to talk about my accomplishments in the world of coon hunting. As Chris already said, and I mentioned, I was the very first PKC Youth National World Champion. I was 18. I got $6,500 in scholarships, which was huge. Won a 3-wheeler. Y'all probably don't even know what 3-wheelers are anymore. 3-wheeler, and the dog boxes and everything else. And little did I know, I went to some college. I did not finish college. I went to several trade schools. My family run a lumber company and a sawmill, hardwood sawmill. So I went to a lot of trade schools going back, because I knew I'd always be my family business, or that's what my plans were. And I stayed there for several years, and I'll get to that just a little bit later. But in 1986, my dad, we bought a black and tan called Kraken Tom. And Dad had placed him in the World Hunt third in 1986. And we had bought a little Walker dog called Snake. Snake was very special to me. He's the one that taught me a lot, him and that black and tan. Me and Dad hunted probably on average 4 or 5 nights a week. And those two dogs taught me what a dog was supposed to do. They were different styles, they were different abilities. Even though black and tan, he's still, without all the dogs that we've had, the black and tan Kraken Tom was still the best. It's just that to take him year-round, every condition, he was. What a lot of people didn't know back before DNA, he was quarter Labrador. So you ever put him in water, you can watch out. He was that deadly. So, but I went ahead and won the World Hunt in 1988 with a dog named Snake, and I never beat the black and tan 2 out of 3 nights. Never. So that's how good that black and tan. But he trained Snake to be a world champion. Because Tom was like 6 and Snake was younger at the time, and he learned a lot from that dog. And I was fortunate to come back, and I think it was 1993. I actually looked through the records to find, and Snake was getting some age on him, but I actually won the reserve world champion in 93, the year Ronnie Bowman and Andy won it. That was the year I thought I should have won, to be honest. I had better dogs. Snake, he got some lucky breaks in the first time he won it, but he was a seasoned hound the next time, so the breaks just didn't go my way in that final cast. It was cold, miserable in the hills of Kentucky, and Snake wasn't a cold-nosed dog. He was an excellent layup dog, but he was not a cold-nosed dog, so the weather kind of hindered him just a little bit. But we was fortunate to pull out second place there. In week 1, we come back in Salem up here in 2012, won reserve with a dog named Skid, and I've been in several other registers. I'm not going to name them here because PKC is the place to be. So, but I have been in a couple other world championships and stuff, and won some national titles, and it's been an honor. You know, you learn a lot through the sport of coon hunting, and I want to touch on that just a little bit. About my career, like I said, for my scholarships, I went to a lot of trade schools that helped us in our business. Later on, I branched off and went into on my own. Me and my brother went in partnership, and I later bought him out. And I run a industrial hardwood packaging company for about 20 years. And as life would give you some curves, I'm no stranger to those either. And I got interested in one day in our county, Decatur County. We're a county of 12,400 people. And the county executive position, some of them call it county judge, some county executive, county mayor, our county calls it county mayor. That position was coming open. The gentleman that held the office was not running again. And I had just an idea. Creasy was drunk. Well, I thought about it, kept it to myself, and talked to my dad, talked to other folks, and it was very close to me. Wasn't ever into local politics, always loved politics, the national level and the state level, kept up with it. And in 2010, I decided to run for that open seat. There were 7 people ran for that seat. And fortunately, I will not say unfortunately, but fortunately, I did not win. I came in a strong sport. I was glad to come in fourth. And looking back, you can see God's footprints in the lives. And I made a good, strong showing. I brought some energy to the campaign. I was battling it out. Wasn't even supposed to come in fourth. I was supposed to win 7. Nobody knew me on the northern end of their county. Came from a good family. People knew that, and the reputation of the family helped me win. So I didn't give up. I did not stop. I got back working the business really, really hard. About decided not to run in 14, but I wanted to challenge it one more time. I'd worked for it, earned it, kept up with a lot of the more issues that was going on. And in 2014, they got it down to 2 people, me and the mayor that won. And I won that time. Out of 100% vote, I came in with the 67% of that vote. And I was very honored. Thought I knew everything like everybody does when you get into the world of politics, but let me tell you something. When I stepped that first foot in that office, I did not know anything. It took a lot of growing up quickly. It took a lot of going back to schooling to quickly learn how to run and be responsible for 12,700 people. And I contribute a lot of that to coon hunting. I can relate greatly what you do out there in that cabin to my current job today. You got, and during those 2 hours, you've got to have so many obstacles that come your way. Everybody that's worked in a cast or played in a cast or entered in a hunt knows what I'm talking about. You'll cut that dog loose, he may not hear for 2 hours. You cut him loose, he may babble within the first minute. There's so many obstacles that hinders you from doing your best, even on the best night. Your determination, you work hard, you get out there, you've got all the things falling into place, and things just don't go right. And you accept that and you move on. You learn time management in a cast. You know how to use. You know you can't waste a second out there if you're in a kind of cast where you need to. Sometimes you want to lay back and play defense. Sometimes you need that offense. So it builds a competitiveness in you that you'll carry on throughout life. Patience, it builds patience within you. How many times you so nervous to cut that dog loose and the first dog barks, you want to strike. I don't care who you are, you feel like you need to jump on it. But you got to be patient, you got to wait. You got to wait your turn, you got to wait on that dog. It's not all about you. It's all about your team, and that team, your partner is that dog. And he's got to be just as good as you are sometimes. Sometimes the dog's better than the handler, and sometimes the handler's better than the dog. So it takes a special connection there to win and win big. You also respect. You'll grow, you'll have respect for your fellow hunters. You'll have respect for your authority. And I know a lot of times when a judge is sitting there over you, you've got to respect him. You may get mad at him for making a bad call, and you might not agree with him. But you need to step back and know that he's a man or woman just like you and can make a bad decision. But you'll respect authority, and that's the game. And gain you a lot in life. And again, you'll learn interpersonal skills. Just like with that judge, sometimes you've got to plead your case. You've got to plead it, and you question it. You bring that scorecard back, and you let a panel. And once that panel rules, you accept their decision. And that's the way it is a lot of times in life. You ain't going to get everything you want. I don't care who you are. And your life's going to have twists and turns and curves, and you'll have to adapt. You'll have to adapt, and you will come out on top, and if you'll just keep going forward and not give up. There's another thing that competition coon hunting taught me, and I hope it teaches you, and that's how to lose. And how to lose with dignity. Winning's easy. Everybody wants to win. Everyone in this building, every entrant in this building tonight wants to win this hunt. But everyone knows it's not going to happen. Losing with dignity. In your character, it'll build character, and how how you'll be defined is how you handle losing. How many times on a baseball field you see someone that gets mad because they lose, throw the glove, throw the bat, and act silly. You accept losing because that's where you're going to build a great character, and you'll learn, you'll go far in life. I know that when I went to talk, the first person I went and talked to was my dad about running for mayor. And first thing he said, wasn't what I expected him to say, but it was the first thing he said. He said, well, you know how to lose. And I looked at him and I thought, well, there it goes. I shouldn't even give this as opportunity now. But what he meant, and plane, he sees the look on my face. And the words he said, you've lost enough in these 2 months, you know how to lose. And he was right. Even though I wasn't successful in 2010, I didn't quit. I knew how to lose. I made a lot of friends. I went to my opponents and I shook their hands with congratulations, and we stayed on course. If you can't lose and be a good sportsmanship and show good sportsmanship, you will never know the full fulfillment and the gratitude of winning. Everybody wants to be in the right life. But again, when you win, and win by the rules, that you play hard, you work hard, you earn, you get out there and you earn what you win. There's a satisfaction within you that can't be felt if you get out here and bend the rules, lie and steal and cheat. It's just that way. I want to also acknowledge all the hunters and their parents and coaches, guardians, whomever you may be. Thank you for taking the time to allow the young hunters here the opportunity to participate in this great sport. And I wish you all the great success this weekend and throughout life. Parents, you don't know what you do, most of you do know what you're placing in these children and having them here tonight. Enjoy the outdoors in Southern Illinois and have an opportunity to fulfill, to start some dreams. My prayer for you all is that life will be filled with greater accomplishments than you ever dreamed of. I know John Lawson right here, he wants to be an NFL star. We asked him what his backup plan is. I want to be an NFL star. So he's with us. And whatever the dreams are, never stop dreaming. Keep those dreams, keep those goals alive, and you guys will make it. Never stop, never stop. And like I said, I'm not going to keep talking. And as I close today, I want to mention this. A few months back, I saw a short video of when Mr. Jarvis Sumter spoke here, right here, at this banquet. He also talked about the rule book of life. I skipped a part here. I went back up. Mr. Jarvis talked about the blue book and how you need to know the rules. You know, a judge, when he goes out there on the cast, it's much, much easier to judge 4 handlers that know the rules and understand the rules than it is when you haven't got one that knows, thinks he knows, but they don't know the rules. It's much, much easier. He also talks about the rule book of life, the Holy Bible, and how you need to know the rules of life. I want to leave you with one last thought here. Once this life is complete, once you have walked your last step in this life, and sometimes a person's age isn't a factor, always place Jesus Christ and His Word before anything else, and always know that if it wasn't for Him, none of us would be here today. Enjoying God's creation and most importantly, a hope of eternal life. I know sometimes that after you coon hunt all night and you have been out chasing those coon dogs on Saturday night, a person just don't want to get up and go to church. I've been there a lot. But I will tell you today, just as my dad told me several years ago, if you are tough enough to stay out all night coon hunting, then you're tough enough to get up and go to church on Sunday morning. Thank you so much again for allowing me to come, and God bless you all.